So Kayla and I have a very special ornament. Now looking at it, you might not think it's all that significant. It's shaped like Texas, even if it's not the most perfect shape. And it kind of has a little bit of an odd color to it. But to us, it has a lot of significance because it came from the very first Christmas we spent together as a married couple after moving into a new home. And we were setting up our Christmas decorations and we didn't have a whole lot on the Christmas tree. And Kayla had the idea to make our own ornaments, and so she took our house key and she stamped it into this ornament and to kind of celebrate the fact that it was our first Christmas together as a new couple in our first home. And so for us it has a whole lot of value, and what makes that ornament special is the fact that we think it's special. And this is what Matthew's going to talk about in Matthew chapter 9, in which he talks about his own story in which Jesus called Matthew to be a disciple, to be his disciple. And what happens in Matthew chapter 9 is Jesus walks up to him and just says two words. He says, "Follow me." And you might be thinking, well, that's not just a whole lot to go off of. Why does Matthew follow him? Well, here's what's going on with Matthew. Matthew was a tax collector, which meant that he was ostracized by his community. They made him an outcast because they saw him as a traitor, that he had betrayed the Jewish people to represent the Roman people. And so he was outcast. And what Jesus does is, amongst all these Jewish people, he walks directly over to Matthew and says, "Follow me." And in doing so, he says to Matthew, "Hey, I think you're valuable, and I think you're special." And to Matthew, that's all he needed to hear, to follow Jesus. Now, the religious people and these kind of scholars and these leaders in the Jewish community were around, and they saw this, and they couldn't believe that Jesus, being of the status that he was, would be willing to associate with somebody like Matthew and other sinners. And he says these guys aren't worthy of Jesus' time or anything that he wants to do with them. They didn't get it, but Matthew got it. He understood that I was special because Jesus thinks I'm special. And what he did was he went and found all of his social outcast friends, and he brought them in and had a dinner with Jesus in which they could know that he thinks they're special too. And so today, as we look through Matthew's story, be thinking about this idea that it is Jesus who makes us special.